Hey everyone, Kevin back here with another video. This is something I thought I'd talk about today that, it's a common thing with, people that have audio systems and audiophile systems. I think it might be useful to have a little, chat about it. So we're going to talk a little bit today about, room treating your room, and a little bit of speaker placement. And just things that maybe be a little beneficial to you. As far as a treated room in that, obviously you can tell this one here hasn't had any treatment. It's a regular living room. I'm going to show a video here, just kind of give you a little scan of the room just to see what I'm kind of dealing with here. This right here, I have opening in the room. There's only a half a wall, and it's basically half wall and goes into the kitchen. So obviously, and the living dining room over here. So it's kind of hard to do any treatment there just because you don't have any walls. And then on the other side here, you have big window, and it basically covers the whole wall. There's 3 casement windows over here, and then behind the camera, behind the seating area where you would sit and listen, there is 2 pocket doors that open up. So basically it's hard to put anything there. So you have minimal space to do any treatment. So it's I've decided do no treatment to the room, just because it's very tough in here, and we use it all the time. It's kind of one of the most used rooms, not for just listening, but just for regular company or watching TV and all that kind of stuff. So it gets used quite a bit. So this room is basically untreated, but it does sound very good for an untreated room. Sometimes with rooms it can be hit and miss, and you get ones that sound better than other than that, depending, and even in your where your outside walls are, or where your system is on the inside or outside walls can affect the sound quite a bit, especially in the low frequencies. So that can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge. But anyways, untreated rooms, they always have uneven frequency response. So that's something to deal with, because you have things reflecting off walls and different objects. So sometimes the frequency response can be uneven, which obviously would be in this room or even any room. But the thing is, with room treatment, you don't want to kill all the reverberation in the room. There has to be a little bit, and it's a bit of a balancing act. You have diffusion and you have absorption, so you want to be absorbing stuff as well as diffusing stuff. So I mean, using panels to do all that, and so there's DIY, do-it-yourself stuff out there that you can do, but it's a bit of a balancing act, and it's not just slamming some stuff on the walls and trying to deaden the whole room, because if you're doing that, you're just basically killing the whole room, which you do not want that. You can lose the liveliness in your system and the way it's supposed to sound, the naturalness, because you got to remember, we're trying to control the sound energy in our room, or restore the natural sound balance in our room. So that's what we're trying to do. We don't want to kill it completely. I know there's rooms out there where it's floor to ceiling absorption panels and all that kind of stuff. So it's you're killing everything. And I'm not a super expert on all this kind of stuff, but I've been around a lot of rooms and heard a lot of systems in different places, and I know doing room tuning is basically, that's kind of an art of its own. And obviously it is necessary to achieve better sound, and your system's going to sound better doing that. But it has to be done, obviously properly. It's not just slamming stuff on the walls and throwing carpet down and all the other stuff that goes with it. And obviously that stuff can help, but you need to really research that before you do it, and play around with your room, because every room is going to be different, and we're dealing here with different systems. You have different gear, different speakers, a whole completely different system, different cables, and all that kind of stuff in the chain can affect a lot of things. But when it boils down to it, we're still dealing with the room that we're in. And that's why sometimes we might like another pair of speakers over another pair or that kind of stuff, because the acoustics in the room is different. So that can change a lot of the way it sounds to us, and even our seating position, where we're seated in the room. Is it right against the back wall? Is it out a bit, or even that position and how far away from the speakers? So all this stuff plays in factor of having a good sounding room. This one here generally sounds pretty good for a non-treated room. I'm kind of surprised at how good it sounds. The only thing here, which I find is a big effect, which is kind of a no-no in a sound room, but obviously this is a living room, is having television dead center like that. You can get a lot of reflecting off of that, and diffusion from that television, and especially this one here, because it's a curved Samsung. Curved television is not the ideal thing in a sound room, just because it can, the way it's shaped. But I've noticed that going from just a flat television, same size, to a curved, that if I was probably to roll back in time, I would have left the flat one, because there's just a little bit of difference there because of the curve, how it reflects it, which in all aspects it should be a panel put up there, diffusing and absorption panels to to correct the sound. But obviously this is a living room, so what can you do? And sometimes in a living room it's hard to put it into the way you want. So you guys that have that opportunity to to treat your rooms, I would say definitely go for it. It's a thumbs up to do that stuff. And definitely, I've read a couple comments and a few of my videos that people mentioned that I need a treated room, and I think, yeah, for sure that would be awesome in here. Just with it being a living room, it's hard to do, but I think that's an awesome thing that you can go for it and do that, and play around a little bit, and obviously research it too. Another thing I want to talk today is about speaker placement. It can be very important in setting up your system. And I went over to a friend of mine's. This was, I guess it was last year now, and he bought a brand new pair of higher end BMW speakers. I'm trying to think of the model, but anyways, he wanted me to come over and set up his speakers, and so we played around with it a bit, and brought it to where I wanted to, and the placement of the speaker, and just to show how a treated room could affect things. We brought them out so far, and it seemed like we're all measured, and it seemed like one speaker was kind of out further than the other. So I noticed on one of his side walls there was a picture. So he had a picture with a frame, and it seemed like if we moved the speaker back an inch, it would sound like it was further back, and then if we moved it an inch ahead, it sounded like it was further. So it ended up being, we figured it out that it was actually that picture on the wall, that how it was being diffused off that picture that was on the wall. It was, we just couldn't get them sounding that they were both at the same level. It was strange, so we ended up playing around with it a bit more and finally getting it. I think we brought it past the where the frame was, or just past how it so it sounded correct. So it was kind of interesting how come we couldn't get that even. But anyway, so that's an example of where a treated room would change things. But obviously it's a living room again, and pictures on the wall and all that stuff, everything affects. Lamps, there's a lot of different stuff. You could go and change your couches, and your room's going to sound a little different if you went from leather to cloth or whatever, right? So anyways, back to the speaker setup, because that's what an instant happened in that setup. This was a while back, and it was something new to me back then. You guys might know about this. If you do, great. And a speaker setup. I talked to the Magico rep one time at a little party I was at. The Magico rep was there, and we were talking about speaker placement. And I was explaining my room a little bit, and he was sharing some stuff with me about you know, a good starting point to where you should try your speakers first before you start, you know, just putting them in a spot or how far away from the walls. So he had basically a formula that he said, which is a good starting point for anybody. So it was, and if you don't know Magico speakers, they're very high-end speakers, aluminum cabinets. I think their starting US price point is, you know, 10, 12 grand. That's for their entry level. And, you know, they go up from there. But very good company, make awesome speakers, obviously. But anyways, the measurement was basically you measure your room and you divide it into three, and 1/3 of your room you bring your speakers out to from your back wall. So it was like a 1/3 measurement. So you guys will have to figure out the math of how, you know, how long your room is. So that's what he said. Bring it out 1/3, and, you know, have the speakers facing flat out, so not toed in or that. And then he said you can play with your how close they are together. So for instance, obviously you're not going to have two sets of speaker like set up like this. This isn't usually like this, but you're going to play with your, you know, how close they are together. So after you do your 1/3, then you play with this, and the 1/3 he says kind of gets it somewhere around the load of your room. So the low frequencies, you're going to find the best sound around there, about the 1/3. And then he says you're going to move it front and back a bit, then you play with it this way and find where it sounds good for imaging. And then obviously if you want to toe them in, or how you want to do that to your seating position. So that was his recommendation. He emailed me the instructions of how to do it. And I thought it was very great, very good. So I actually tried it, and I was like, wow, he's bang on. That's a good place to start. So that's, anytime I bring a speaker in this room, I always do that measurement, bring it in, and get, you know, I kind of know where it is now because I've done it so many times. And that's usually where I play with it a bit, and it might have to go, you know, a little bit front or back, but I just encourage you guys to give that a shot and see if that works in your room, to using that 1/3 you know, positioning of your speaker. So it seemed to work well for me, so I just thought I'd bring that to you. Anyways, just want to thank you. I don't want to take the video too long today or whatever. You can hear my dog snoring in the background. I must be putting her to sleep. Anyways, we'll just you know, want to say thanks for watching this video. If you want to hit the like or subscribe to the channel, you'll get some more videos. I'll have some more interesting stuff coming out that hopefully will be helpful. And I encourage you guys too, any of you guys out there that are into you know, treating rooms and that got, you know, got info or have done it before. I think that'd be great if you guys throw some videos up, or, you know, do a video on what you did to your room and treated it and what it sounded like. So I just want to thank everybody, and God bless, and have a good one. Thanks.